Hello, I'm Mr. Ogre, and in this video I'm going to be talking about Inscription in the War Within. So if you're looking how to level, efficiency, or the treasures, I've got you covered. So grab your quill and let's get started. Inscription in the War Within maintains a similar approach to what we saw in Dragonflight. You'll be milling herbs to produce pigments, converting these pigments into inks, and crafting items like missives and Vantis runes. Just like in Dragonflight, milling a specific herb will give a specific pigment. I've included a table on screen that shows which pigment you will receive from each herb. Microbloom gives nacreous pigment, Lurdrop gives Lurdrop pigment, Auburniid gives Auburniid pigment, and Blessing Blossom gives Blossom pigment. Arathor's spear, however, cannot be milled. There is also a fish that can be milled, the specular rainbow fish, which gives nacreous pigment like the Microbloom. A change from Dragonflight to the War Within, however, is we only have two inks, Apricot and Shadow. To get Apricot ink, you will need nacreous pigment and Lurdrop pigment, and to get Shadow ink, you will need Auburniid pigment and Blossom pigment. All pigments come in 3 ranks, and the rank you receive will be based on the quality of the herb you choose to mill, your inscription level, and your knowledge point choices. The rank of the herb will not increase the amount of pigments you receive. Therefore, while leveling, I would recommend just using whichever is the cheapest on the auction house if you're buying your herbs. So, first things first, you'll want to locate the inscription trainer, Brigand. You can find Brigand in the southern part of Dornogal, near the southern entrance to the city. Conveniently, the inscription crafting table is right next to the trainer, so you won't have to go far to get started crafting. But, before you dive into crafting, you'll need to gather some materials. Here's a rough list to get your Cazal Garling inscription to level 80 without relying heavily on work orders. You'll need around 3,000 distilled Algari freshwater, this is purchased from the inscription vendor, around 1,000 Microbloom, and 500 Lurdrop. You also need around 50 Arathor's spear, and around 120 leyline residue. You will also need a variety of other materials to craft treaties in the later stages, but I recommend buying those as and when you need them. When you first start out, Brigand will only have one recipe for you, Cazal Garling. This requires 10 herbs and produces pigments based on the herb you use. In total, you will need to mill around 1,000 Microbloom and 500 Lurdrop, which will definitely bring you to level 20. However, resourcefulness, which you might get later on, gives a chance to use less materials, so start by milling just 400 of the Microbloom and 200 of the Lurdrop. This should be enough to reach level 20, and you now have the mats for the next crafts. Once you run out of pigment, and you will, just craft another batch of Microbloom and Lurdrop pigments. At level 21, return to Brigand and learn the recipe for Apricot ink. This will turn green at level 25 and grey at 30. Just craft enough until you hit level 30 and then stop. Next, pick up new recipes from the trainer and focus on crafting Boundless Cipher and the lightweight Scribe's Quill. The Quill is equipable, so if you get resourcefulness or multicraft, equip it. If you didn't get resourcefulness or multicraft, you can recraft another one, but I wouldn't do this too many times. It would end up being a huge waste of materials. Continue crafting the Boundless Cipher until the recipe turns green at level 35 and finally grey at level 40. At level 40, the recipes get expensive, so I recommend specialising into Pursuit of Knowledge. Just by selecting this specialisation, you'll learn the Algari treaties on inscription recipe. This is key. It'll stay orange until level 80, so you can craft 40 treaties to power through these levels. These treaties are not only useful for leveling, but also fulfilling a stockpile for future weeks or work orders. Additionally, when you craft one, you will have a chance to learn a treatise for other professions. All the treatise recipes will require 1 Boundless Cipher, 2 inks, and 2 of either the leyline residue, crystalline powder, viridescent spores, or writhing samples. As you learn new treatise recipes, make sure to check your work orders, make a stockpile for your second profession, and for your alts, friends, guildies, get them to send work orders to you. Once you reach level 80, you can unlock all 4 specialisation trees. With the Keppel Carving specialisation, I recommend speccing into the Combative Curiosities sub-specialisation and then further specialising into staves or torches. Either of these specializations, by just choosing them, will teach you a recipe that requires a Spark of Omens, either the Vagabond's Baton or the Vagabond's Torch, and you don't have to spend a single knowledge point to unlock these. While you're crafting both the staff and the torch, make sure you continue crafting any treaties that you can until the recipe goes grey at level 95. And while regular inscription work orders are contested by other crafters and limited in how many you can do, you are now able to use the new patron system, which is NPC work orders. The NPCs will post work orders for even spark items, and although they don't always provide all the materials, they will always provide the Spark of Omens. Through this system, you should be able to find work orders for the staff or the torch, depending on which one you went with. So I just want to cover knowledge points. If the Darkmoon Fair is active, don't miss out on an easy 2 skill points and 3 knowledge points from the quest right in the future offered by Sage. I'd recommend saving this for when you're close to the max level just to get the value out of the skill points. The next is Profession Treasures. There are a total of 8 treasures, each rewarding 3 points. So that's 24 points just for finding these 8 treasures. I'm going to do a quick rundown of where to find them, and I'll include coordinates in the description. The first 2 treasures are on the Isle of Dorn. They are the Dornogal's Scribe's Quill, found in the Dornogal auction house on a shelf at the back of the room. Second, we have the Historian's Dip Pen. This is located in the Boulder Springs area, in the back of a building on a shelf. The next 2 treasures are in the Ringing Deeps. You have the Blue Earthen Pigment, which is in the Talok area of Dornogal. It's the first building on the right with enemies around it. The second is the Runic Scroll, which is located in Gundar Gaz, the capital of the Ringing Deeps. It's on a table in the inn. The Calligrapher's Chiselled marker is found in the north of Mereldar. It's in one of the towers on a table. You then have the Informant's Fountain Pen. This is located in the very south of Mereldar. It's on a table on a high platform. Then we have the Nerubian Text. These are a small scroll located directly underneath the Weather in the Weather's lair in Azj-kahet. And the final treasure is the Venomancer's Inkwheel. This is found in the Umbral Bazaar of the City of Threads. It's on a table inside one of the buildings. Just be aware that if you haven't unlocked the City of Threads, you may not be able to get this treasure. And that's all I have for Inscription. And if you found this video helpful, then please consider hitting the like button. And if you want to see more World of Warcraft content, hit the subscribe button. Thank you and happy crafting.